It seemed like for the longest, Pixar was the juggernaut when it came to making high-quality animated movies, like the Christopher Nolan of animation studios. In the early 2000s, just about every movie they made was a hit, not just critically but also financially. Now I know the movie industry has changed a lot even over the past decade, but Pixar was making hits without even using big-name celebrities, or at least big-name celebrities at the time. I think that proves that having a stacked cast is a big draw, but I think more than anything, people just want to see a great movie. With that being said, it has been kinda sad watching Pixar's slow decline in quality, and if I were to pinpoint when it happened exactly, I would say probably the notorious release of Cars 2. I actually rewatched this movie a couple of months ago, and while it's not as bad as I remember, this movie still fails to make me feel anything. I mean, the action is good, and the kill count is surprisingly high, but it still feels pretty half-baked in the story and even character department. Like, I'm still trying to figure out whose idea it was to make a Cars sequel, a high-stakes Jane Bondy spy thriller with political subtext about consumerism, all while having Mater be the main character. Like, it couldn't be about Lightning adjusting to his new work-life balance or something? Okay, I guess that sounds pretty boring, but you get what I'm saying. Every movie with a couple of exceptions that they've released after Cars 2 just hasn't been on par with their pre-2010 era. Now we live in a time where DreamWorks is beating Pixar at their own game. It's kinda satisfying, not gonna lie. I think Pixar, and more specifically Disney, has gotten kinda complacent with their content. They've become too over-reliant on sequels and existing IP to make money, and the quality of those projects have dropped in quality too. Where's the Pixar that used to take risks and wasn't afraid to greenlight crazy ideas? Now, that's not to say Pixar doesn't still make good content, because they do. Win or Lose has actually been one of their better projects recently, even though overall the show isn't very interesting to look at visually. Seriously, DreamWorks TV studio is kicking your butt in that department. It does try some new things, and the writing is surprisingly mature and grounded. They really take their time exploring each character and their individual conflicts, something they can never really have the time to do in a movie. This doesn't really feel like a kid's show, and I dig that. I also find it hilarious they got the Game of Thrones composer to do the music for the series, because for something so visually basic, the music is so over the top and dramatic. It's like the combination of simplicity and bombast is amusing all by itself. I don't think I've ever seen Pixar try to be this hip before either. But weirdly enough, I think the modern vibe works for a show like this because its goal is to reflect the struggles of people in current times. Now, as far as if Elio captures some of Win or Lose's more experimental energy, I would say it does. Now, I knew very little going into this movie. To be honest, I had lost a lot of interest in seeing this movie, mostly because Pixar pushed the release date back like 20 times. I still think they chickened out of March of 2024 because they thought Beyond the Spider-Verse was gonna come out, because let's be honest, given the choice, everybody would have watched Spider-Verse. But then ironically, Sony really turned around and did the same thing. But honestly, most of my interest in this movie stemmed from the fact that A, it was an original project, and B, the protagonist was actually a child. I think animation studios sometimes underestimate how effective and engaging it is to have a child as a main character, especially for kids watching. And funnily enough, the best part of this movie is Elio himself. Like, I don't think I've seen an animated child character this well done since Macy and the Sea Beast. Oh my gosh, I don't know why I love this movie so much, but I do. I think I need to rewatch it. The movie is about a misfit boy who gets abducted by aliens, is mistaken for Earth's ambassador, and asks to join the Communiverse, a community where the universe's greatest leaders come together to, I guess, keep the peace and talk or something? Yeah, I wasn't super clear on what they do. It basically seemed like some type of intergalactic homeowners association. Back to the titular character, Elio feels very fleshed out in the same way Lilo does. He's very strange, kooky, and antisocial, but it's in a way that's very unique and specific to him, which makes him very believable. The movie does a great job of making us understand why he acts the way he does, mostly due to, and is this even really a spoiler? I mean, you probably could have guessed it, his parents died. It's one of the first lines in the movie actually, and now he's being taken care of by his aunt. So now you have the broken family setup that's also similar to Lilo and Stitch, except here the disconnect between the child and guardian is way more apparent, and it actually makes for interesting arcs for both characters. The aunt having to reroute her whole life now that she has to take care of her nephew, and Elio having to adjust as well and find a place where he feels appreciated. I mean, you feel really sympathetic for both sides, and that's just due to good writing. Even when the style feels simple, the characters can feel complex, though I am not encouraging the continuous use of this being now style. Seriously, Pixar, it's time to move on, man. But even that is done just as good as it could be here. The animation is still very lively and colorful. I absolutely love the world building of the Communiverse, even though they kind of rushed through the introduction of it. Yeah, pacing continues to be a lost art form in modern movies and even shows. Everything has a rounded, bubbly look to it, and I kinda like that. similar to DreamWorks Home. The movie is also very cinematic. Not that Pixar hasn't been cinematic before, but here the space and sense of scale shots feel especially immersive. The alien designs are cute, though I do tend to prefer alien designs that are a little more complex. Though I did like Lordon's design because he has no eyes, yet they're still able to make him very expressive. He's also a really fun character that's able to help Elio grow, and every scene with them interacting is really endearing, in the same way that Luca and Alberto's friendship was. And the young actors playing them are doing a really great job. I did like how they bonded over the fact that they both felt unloved, which again feels cliche but is actually very powerful the more you think about it. Everybody, especially kids, need to feel loved and wanted, or else they can experience developmental issues. I think it was important for the movie to not only tackle that topic, but even offer a resolution. And not gonna lie, the resolution made me kinda cry. Anyways, despite all of the good things about this movie, it does have a couple of issues. Probably the biggest issue I had is how the plot just kind of jumps all over the place. It's not as tight and focused as I would have hoped, and that's because the movie introduces so many ideas and concepts. It's a little hard to keep up sometimes. I mean, I like these ideas, I just think this movie worked the best when it was a smaller story and focused on one element at a time. There are some characters that struggle to feel, shall I say, necessary, and a couple of jokes do kind of fall flat. That, and we're still holding on to the liar revealed trope in 2025. Really? I mean, they don't dwell on it too long, but again, time to move on, Pixar. Okay, so this is just like a weird side note, but this movie really brought back the cheesy early 2000s slow-mo. You know, the type that was supposed to make a scene seem so much more epic or emotional, but really it just made it seem corny and kind of schmaltzy? Yeah, they do that a couple of times here, and I found it both unintentionally hilarious, but also kind of nostalgic. But yeah, overall I really enjoyed this movie, and I encourage people to give it a chance. It's far from peak Pixar, but even Pixar's weakest films are better than most animated movies being put out today. It's good, but not groundbreaking. And now alluding to the title of this video, either a movie has to be a remake or a sequel for audiences to show up for it apparently, or if it is an original movie, it has to be really great and something special. And I'm not sure this movie is that level of quality to where most people will want to pay money to see it in the theater. I mean, ticket prices ain't exactly cheap anymore, and also studios have to, you know, promote the movie. It's just sad to see that this movie was basically set up to fail and people on the internet are already hating on it. Like, do we not want original movies? Next up, Bad Guys 2. I am excited for this movie, I'm just less excited about the internet's reaction to it. My mom was like crying so hard at the end of the movie, and I was like, it kind of got to me too, not gonna lie, because it was kind of really personal for me. They were talking about how you want to feel like you belong someplace, but also because of low self-esteem, we sometimes doubt if there is really anything for us to, you know, for people to really like us, I guess. Is there a reason for us to belong at all? And yeah, the way they all tied it up, it was really nice and kind of beautiful, not gonna lie. It was good. It was really good. So yeah, I would definitely say you guys should watch it. There's a lot of stuff coming out, but if you want to catch like a matinee or something for this movie, I think that would be good. So yeah, thanks for watching again, and I will see you all soon. Bye.